Hello. Today I'm going to draw an ichneumonid wasp. I believe this one's a male. It's a type of, not this one, but the female ones have like an ovipositor which they use to pretty much inject eggs into various insects that pretty much eat those insects alive. So I guess it falls under the category of like I think maybe a parasitoid. I may be saying that wrong. But this photo is from James Reben. Thank you to him. I'll put a link in the description for the source of this image as well. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this one's a male because of the lack of the long ovipositor at the end. So, breaking this wasp down, I'm going to start with gesture first. So when I talk about gesture, which you may be used to it if you watched my videos before. If not, I usually either use a straight line, a C curve, an S curve, some type of a ellipse, or perhaps a shape. But oops, sorry, I accidentally spit on my screen. To start off, I'm going to start off with the head. And the interesting thing here is as we look at our wasp, I feel like I could summarize the main part of the head into a ball, or a sphere. Kind of like that. Alrighty, so the thorax, this part here, I'm going to summarize that as also as a sphere, but a bit elongated. And it's an interesting shape. It's a very interesting shape. I'm kind of wondering if I wanted to like do something like that. To me, when I look at this wasp, I keep thinking like a mud dauber. I know it's not one, but like it has that shape. So now I'm kind of thinking I may want to draw a gestural line to orient myself as I go. I just wanted to do that to kind of have a little bit of logic to make everything. And I'm kind of thinking I made the dip a little bit too large. So let me go from here to here. I think like that. Now I'm going to draw the thorax. I mean, not all of it, just a part to summarize it. I will be adding more onto it. And of course we have the abdomen that also has like a stinger. And I kind of left that off at the end because I eventually want to show the stinger. But I'll handle that soon enough. Because it's an insect, it has 6 legs. So I'm going to draw the pilot holes to its legs on the thorax. It also has 2 wings, I believe, and they're kind of a bit folded. I think I'm going to draw that soon. I'll draw it now. I'm kind of debating because it kind of looks like there's an additional structure that I want to add, but to draw that gestural nature of it, I feel like I shouldn't add that until I do structure. But heck, how about if I jump to structure? I guess I always prove myself that I don't have to follow everything I do in the exact order I do it. So the interesting thing is I'm seeing this hump-like thing. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it kind of looks like well, I'm not really sure, but I'll just draw it. It's kind of like, well, okay, you know what, let me go back to the gesture again, because what I'm kind of seeing is like this other form that's kind of like that, or It's kind of like an additional form. You know, it's more structural, so kind of like overlays the form. That's what I'm seeing. To jump back to gesture, I'm going to draw two like pilot holes for the wings, and they're on both sides. And I will draw the wings soon, but not yet, because I want to draw the leg lines that I am seeing. So the first leg kind of goes like right there. The other leg kind of like goes like that a bit. Well, you know, even closer. Well, you know what? I'll be adding the structure soon, so I think that does work for that leg. This leg goes a bit further, kind of like that. The back leg, kind of like that. Let's see, the leg here, it's a bit outstretched. A bit like that. And now for the back leg. Kind of like that. Maybe it should have been a bit closer because I'm seeing that gap. So let me try to do that one more time. Yeah, I think like that. Okay, so at this point, I want to draw. I'm going to jump to the structure, and I kind of want to add this head thing. Or I could go back. Okay, just for myself, I want to draw the eyes. You can kind of see like there's this additional form, and I'm not sure if these are mandibles or pincers or something of its mouth, but I want to draw the eye because it kind of like sticks out. So, you know, of course, it's like attached to the form, and it's a bit bulbous. Kind of like that. And to a certain extent, I'm kind of seeing like a middle separation line. So I wanted to kind of draw that to kind of show it. Okay, so the eye here is interestingly shaped. Kind of like that. And now, going back to my previous eye, I want to go back to it because I don't think I did it 100% justice because it's a bit longer than I drew it. And it's interesting. It's very interesting. So sorry, I need to fix that. So it's a little bit bulbous. There's that initial part that I'm kind of seeing, and then I'm seeing that eye, which I think maybe I should try to summarize it as an ellipse. It doesn't hang off too much. But it fits into that socket. So it kind of looks, if you look at the image over here, near that part, it kind of looks like its head is more, it's more like this triangular shape rather than a sphere that I was trying to fit it on. Because I'm kind of seeing like from the center point, it kind of like goes out a little bit and then comes back in around the form. And it kind of does that here as well before it like attaches to that eye just ever so slightly, goes out a bit. And then I'm also seeing the how do I put it, that form, which I believe is its mouth, and I think it's kind of like, it's got to be like some type of mouth grasper or something like that. I'm also seeing this thing. I'm not sure what that is, but I want to draw like a pilot hole for it, and then draw it like that. Now, the other interesting thing here is at the separation point, I'm kind of seeing like a bit of a bulbous thing, which I'm guessing is just an attachment of its head, but it kind of like sticks out and kind of goes around the eye sockets. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with our wasp. So I want to draw 2 more pilot holes for its antenna, which is like right, kind of like right there, and this one is a bit obscured because not obscured, but just like the perspective on it is a bit different. So the ellipse is a bit thinner, kind of like that. And now I'm going to draw the gestural line. But before I draw that gestural line, I'm just going to get rid of that. So the gestural line for it goes really far. I think I made it a bit... No, I think I'm right. Yeah. And then for this one... No, I made that too far. Because it should just be a little farther than that leg. I think I made it too far again. I think that's good. Now I want to sorry, I realized I kind of did some of those lines on the gesture layer, but I want to look at the area between the head and the thorax. So like I'm seeing this dipping down connection part, and the interesting thing here is that form kind of like, it goes kind of like that. It kind of like attaches to it. I think I made mine a bit wider than how it actually is, but it kind of like all attaches to that main thorax. And then it kind of looks like there's this additional part, like it's a bit kind of like that. It may just be a bit of a perspective thing. And now that I'm looking at it, I think I should have made the I should have made it going a bit angled a bit up. So oops. I think I should have angled it a bit higher up. Like, I'll show you what I mean. I'm gonna temporarily get rid of that, and I'll show you my mistake. Luckily, I'm dealing with digital, so I can correct it a bit. Not all the way, but a little bit. So, like over here, maybe I should have drawn a little bit of a pilot hole for it, but kind of like goes like to the end where the stinger would be, and then kind of like that, maybe even a bit longer. Yeah, no, still no. Yeah, kind of like that. And then you have like basically like a branch. And if you wanted to summarize it, you could draw ellipses. Because whenever I see something like this, I'm always thinking like a mud dauber, wasp. And then I'm going to connect those to the form. And I should have drawn a pilot hole for it there. It's kind of like a branch. And near the end, you kind of have like a stinger for a wasp. Let me see. So I kind of want to focus on the form here. If you look at its back, you know, in addition to that form kind of going over it, I'm kind of seeing like a triangle shape on its back. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is, but I'm definitely seeing it. Yeah, and I think it's where the wing would be attached as well. So the wing shape is really interesting. The wing is more gestural, and it really just covers the other one as well. It kind of like goes out a little, then goes in. Like our wasp here, its wings are folded in, so you know, of course it's not flying, so it's gonna want to conserve energy, so it has its wings folded like that. I would draw the individual things that make up the wing, but it's a bit obscured, so I'm gonna leave that out. Let me think. So I kind of want to focus back on the head again, and I'm really seeing, like, I'm seeing this form that kind of wraps around the eye socket and antenna. It kind of like goes around and bulges out a bit. Kind of like connects it all together like a puzzle. And I drew a portion of it before, but I wanted to bring a little more attention to it again. Okay, so at this point, I see this thing here, and if I was going to summarize it in any way, I would want to like cap off the end and kind of try to draw it really thin, connecting to that pilot hole I made before. It's a very small one. There's got to be one on the other side too, but I just can't see it. I'm also seeing a small one there, but I'm not exactly sure how it all relates to our wasp. I should probably look at another photo of a wasp. And I do have another photo by the same person. And if we look at it, if we look at the other photo, it's still a bit hard to see that thing, but it's got one on the other side, which is very interesting. And now that I look at this other image, I could kind of see how there's a structure on our wasp here, on its abdomen, that I wasn't seeing before. And I could also see the back kind of bulges out a bit more, even though it kind of still has that shape. Maybe I'll draw this one as a part of a different exercise eventually, like a part 2 to this, maybe. So yeah, man, I didn't see that before, so it's interesting. I should include that, even though I can't see all of it. I could see some of it. It's kind of like the first portion is the largest, and it kind of wraps around the form of our wasp. And I would say it kind of cuts off at that point. Kind of like that. It's kind of got that other one. It's a little bit shorter. So I covered, well, I kind of missed 1, 2, 3. Man, I missed a lot of these. It's really hard for me to measure it based on this and think about it, but I guess maybe that's the downside to dealing with another perspective. I think I should have made it a bit more like that. Kind of like this banding thing. Then as it gets smaller, they get a bit shorter as we go closer to the stinger, which I can only assume is for self-defense. Or maybe, I don't really know. I mean, considering this one would be a parasitoid, you would think. Then we're getting really close to the end. And it's interesting because on the second reference I'm looking at, the last piece seems a bit more like square. I know that's just more of an illusion more than anything. Then it kind of, the stinger does kind of go a bit like that. Alrighty, so the legs. The legs, I'm going to close this image. Well, actually, you know what, I'll start with the antenna. Oop. Sorry, I don't know where those. So I'll start with the antenna. And the antenna has like a big, it's kind of like a shape that kind of caps off initially. And it's just a little bit past that eye. And it's like a bean shape that kind of goes in that depression. And I want to get the other one too. This one, it's kind of like I'm seeing the initial ellipse to it, and kind of like another ellipse that kind of surrounds it before it connects to that pilot hole. The interesting thing here is I see all these little balls going to the end, so I wanted to cap it off the end. And cap off the end over here. And man, there are so many little balls. I would count them. It would be really hard to fit each one in. I mean, I think it's worth it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Then the cap is 21. That is really tiring. Because they're all like these little balls that kind of string along. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And I know I already messed it up. It's so hard to do because some of them I'm just not thinking of it right. Let me try it again. They all kind of like merge with one another, so maybe I should have made it a little bit longer, even though it's really hard to do this with my wrist. Maybe like, nah, it's way too large. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this is worse now. Okay, let me do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The interesting thing here is right here the perspective gets a bit closer and they're a bit larger, but 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and I already messed it up. I think I may have made the antenna a bit too long. So I hate to not follow reality, but I'm just gonna try to... You know what, the interesting thing here is I'm only seeing... No, they always have this ball-like shape. They always kind of band a little bit. Even though the illusion of it is kind of like it doesn't start banding until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It seems like the first 13 bulge the most, then it kind of doesn't go like that. So I'm gonna try just drawing the first 13. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So at this point, just as a little hack, I'm going to try to draw ellipses along this thing to have a way to orient myself. And I want to draw that kind of going to there. Going to there. And I know that's not the reality because it's like, I think you're seeing more of the ball because of the perspective, and as it kind of twists in space, you're kind of losing some of that, but you still do have that banding going on throughout all of the antenna. And I know I'm just kind of making it up here. But I'm not seeing that. No, it's for all of them. Maybe there was more that I wasn't seeing than 21 based on like how it twists. So I'm just kind of winging it here. Yeah, I think I made that antenna length way too long compared to the reality. So that's my mistake. The other thing here is we really can't see all the individual balls. I mean, they still gotta be there. So I'll try to keep it to 21. Well, actually, no, I'm gonna orient myself with a bunch of ellipses along that axis that I drew. And because it's kind of hard to see here, I could do that ribbing, but I'm going to connect it first to the main, to that one, and I guess I'll try to do a bit of that. Even though I really can't see it. Yeah, I kind of winged the antenna a bit. But alrighty, let's go with this leg right here. So it's like a bean shape, kind of like goes out and kind of goes in. Even though like some of it's a bit obscured because we can't see that initial attachment point. So it's a bit like going straight out and kind of up and kind of in. And I should have made those attachment points a bit smaller. I think I made the initial ellipses for them a bit too large. So that is my fault with that. It loops around, and it, I kind of messed up. That leg should have gone more, like that gesture should have been more like that and that, because what I'm seeing in the reality of it is it kind of goes around like that as it connects to that bean shape. Then it kind of goes out. Connects to that, kind of like that. And the interesting thing here is it's got to have two of those end claws to grip whatever it needs to grip. But alrighty, I'm gonna jump to this leg now. The interesting thing here is I'm seeing this interesting ball shape. I kind of want to like draw that ball. It's a bit significant. I'm not sure why I'm seeing that, but it is there all right. And the other interesting thing here is I'm seeing like an initial connecting point. Kind of looks a bit like a small nub. And the more I look at it, I think I think it's more connected, like it's a bit too far away when I drew this. Like it seems like it's a bit closer, kind of like that. And then the part here kind of like really tapers before it connects to that shape. So yeah, I think I kind of messed up a section here, which is really disappointing. But here I'm seeing like a little bit below that antenna about here. And I made the shape way too long. I made that gestural leg just way too long. And I'm kind of just trying to accommodate that, as disappointing as it is. Or, you know what? No, I think I was right, but I should have made it just below. I should have made that a little bit higher as it connects to that ball shape. And it kind of goes out and connects to it. And now for, there's an interesting thing here. I'm not really sure what it is, but I see it. It kind of looks like a claw, almost. It's definitely there. Then I'm seeing this part here. It's a little long, but very much like a matchstick. Then you have 1, 2, 3. And I did make that gestural line just a bit too short. Then the last line, it kind of like has like a longer triangle. Kind of goes like that. Then kind of like that. Sorry, my throat's getting a bit dry. So I wanted to do this leg here, even though it's a little bit obscured. It's kind of like that. Well, it's more thinner than I drew. Kind of like that a bit. Then we have that shape that connects to that. Then we have that matchstick shape. It's a bit obscured, but I just want to roll with it. Then based on this leg, it has like 3 triangles. And I'm kind of just inferring it based on this leg here. Then the last one is a longer triangle. And I keep thinking of these end legs as kind of like stacking cups, and also has those 2 gripping things. But yeah, it is really hard. It is a bit hard to see because of the focus is more on the head and the thorax and the antenna. Let's do this leg, and it's interesting because like it doesn't kind of get larger until it goes out a bit further. Kind of seeing like up, down, kind of like that. Kind of like that. Then it's got this teardrop-like shape that kind of goes like up and down, or like down and up as it connects to that leg. Then this side's a bit flat-like, kind of like that. Then it has that matchstick-like segment. Kind of like that. Then it's got to have 3 of those triangle things. Then its last one is like that longer triangle. And it has to have those little claws with it. Alrighty. Now for the... Well, actually, I wanted to step back to the structure. The interesting thing is the more I look at the wings, it kind of seems like there's an additional structure, like it's kind of a bit bulbing out on both sides to those attachment points. Like it's not just like on that ball that I drew, it's kind of like there's a shape, and I feel like I didn't do too good of a job focusing on it, because it's a bit more like that. It's kind of like a sideways sphere on that other sphere that I drew, but I wanted to point that out because I think that's a bit of a shortcoming I had when I drew that leg. So I want to draw the back leg here, even though it's a bit obscured. There's going to be that initial nub connecting point, and it's a little bit obscured. I'm just going to try to wing it. It's really big initially. And then it connects to that point, then it kind of gets a bit thinner, kind of like that. And yeah, the perspective is a little bit, I guess I'll just try to draw like 3 triangles, then the longer triangle that connects to it. I'm just trying to infer based on the other legs. Okay, so now for this leg, I'm going to draw it. And so first I'm seeing that like initial nub that connects to the underside of that initial point. And the interesting thing here is I'm kind of seeing a shape that kind of looks like, a bit like an inchworm, but it's kind of like that. Kind of like that, and it connects to that leg. Then I'm seeing that this weird shape, which I wish I could name it something. It's kind of like that. maybe it's bulging out even a little bit more than what I wanted it to, or it should be bulging out more, kind of like that. Let me do that shape one more time. I still don't like it. It's very hard to get. Kind of like that. Even though a shortcoming of mine is that this bean shape should have been closer to that. So I'm beginning to think that a mistake I did is, now that I'm looking closer, I'm seeing like a smaller additional part that kind of like ever so slightly goes up really briefly, and then maybe I could fit that shape in, kind of going over the shape and connecting to it. But yeah, then it kind of makes me break my gesture, which is a shame. Let me try that shape again. Thank you for sticking with me. It kind of goes up. No, that side should be a bit straighter. Okay, kind of like that. And then this part is just such a bizarre shape. It's like there's always like a S-curve line going to it, then it's like a straight side, kind of like that. Although it should be a bit thinner, kind of like that. But okay, then you have, oh, I'm seeing another one of those little claw things. I'm not sure what it's for, but it attaches to that form. So now we have the longer initial leg segment thing, and it kind of goes to about here and connects to that form. It's like a matched stick. Then, though it's a bit blurred, I know there's going to be those 3 triangle things that all connect to each other. Then there's going to be that longer one, which is like the ending one. Then you have the 2 little claws. So yeah, I think there's a lot for me to learn. I think the initial part connecting the thorax to the abdomen, I should have done that better. I think I made it too long. Or perhaps what I was missing, and let me look at another image real quick, because maybe I forgot that attachment form. Maybe the underside kind of extends a little bit more than I expected it to, which makes sense. Yeah, I think it is. I think like as it attaches, so I'll show you. I think over here there should have been like a little bit of a form I should have drawn. Maybe I underestimated the abdomen, because when I do that, it kind of shows that other area, or like it kind of helps me summarize that. It's a bit like a pipe going up, kind of like that, as the thorax is connecting to the abdomen, and it should have been a bit more covered even though I made it a little bit longer, and it does connect to that form. So yeah, I made quite a few mistakes, but heck, I do that quite often. I'm only human. So thank you for sticking through this video with me. Yeah, I'm gonna visit the other views of this wasp in different videos, so please do stick around for that when I do release them. But yeah, if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. If you have a question, please ask in the comments. Thank you very much for watching throughout this video. Bye.